Poverty is not merely a lack of money. Often, it is a byproduct of an excess of comfort. You have been sold a lie that the ultimate goal of life is to reach a state of permanent relaxation, where all your needs are met with the tap of a screen and every discomfort is immediately anesthetized. This desire for ease is the very thing that keeps you financially fragile and spiritually weak. The ancient samurai understood that a sword kept in a velvet case eventually rusts, while a sword forged in fire and polished with stone remains lethal. If you are struggling to build wealth, it is likely because your life is too soft to support the weight of an empire. Chapter 1. The Sedation of the Spirit. In the 17th century, the samurai class faced a crisis of peace. Without war, many warriors grew soft, trading their training for poetry and their armor for silk. The legendary philosopher and swordsman Yamamoto Tsunetomo warned against this in the Hagakure, stating that a warrior must live as though he is already dead. This was not a call to suicide, but a psychological tool to eliminate the fear of discomfort. When you fear nothing, not even death, you become capable of taking the actions that ordinary men are too terrified to take. The modern man, however, fears everything. He fears a cold room. He fears a difficult conversation. And he fears the temporary pain of discipline. Consider the life of a man named Elias. Elias was not poor by statistical standards. He had a salary, an apartment, and a car. Yet, he had zero net worth and zero freedom. His life was a carefully constructed cage of comfort. He spent his evenings on a soft couch watching other people live adventures on a screen, eating food delivered to his door because he was too tired to cook. His paycheck was entirely consumed by payments for things that made him feel safe: subscriptions, leasing fees, and gadgets. Elias believed he was living the good life, but in reality, he was sedated. He had no urgency to build wealth because his environment was designed to make him forget that he was stagnating. Chapter 2. The Illusion of Safety. The turning point for Elias came in the form of a market correction. The company he worked for, bloated and inefficient, laid off 20% of its staff, and Elias found himself without a paycheck. The comfort he had purchased instantly evaporated, revealing the terrifying truth. He was fragile. All the soft pillows and entertainment subscriptions could not save him from the reality that he had no resources and no skills to generate them independently. He realized that his comfort had been a mortgage on his future, and the bill had finally come due. He was broke not because he didn't earn enough, but because he had used his earnings to build a nursery rather than a fortress. It was in this state of panic that he discovered the concept of Gaman. In Japanese philosophy, Gaman translates to enduring the seemingly unbearable with patience and dignity. It is not passive suffering, it is active endurance. It is the ability to look at a difficult situation and refuse to be broken by it. Elias realized that to rebuild his life, he had to destroy his addiction to ease. He had to voluntarily introduce hardship into his life, to callous his mind against the chaos of the world. He understood that wealth is not generated by people who need to be comfortable. It is generated by people who can function in the cold. Chapter 3. The Architecture of Austerity. Elias began a process of radical elimination. He moved into a smaller, cheaper space, not out of desperation, but out of strategy. He canceled every service that was not essential to his survival or his work. He began to wake up early, not to enjoy a leisurely morning, but to work on a new skill set before the sun rose. This period of his life was defined by the principle of misogi, or purification through hardship. By stripping away the layers of luxury, he found that he had more energy, not less. The energy he used to spend maintaining his lifestyle was now directed entirely toward building his capital. This transition was painful. His friends, still trapped in the matrix of consumption, mocked his new lifestyle, calling it unnecessary suffering. They did not understand that he was undergoing a metamorphosis. A warrior does not carry heavy luggage into battle, and a man building an empire cannot carry the dead weight of consumerism. Elias learned to find satisfaction in the discipline itself, rather than in the reward. He stopped looking for the hack, or the easy way, and fell in love with the grind. He realized that money flows to those who have the discipline to keep it, and that discipline is impossible to cultivate in a life of indulgence. Chapter 4. The Wealth of the Warrior. Over the next 2 years, the compounding effect of Elias's austerity began to show results. Because his expenses were low, He could invest 90% of his income. Because he was accustomed to discomfort, he took business risks that his competitors were too afraid to take. When a new opportunity arose that required long hours and high uncertainty, Elias stepped forward while others stepped back, because he was no longer afraid of the strain. He had developed a high tolerance for difficulty, which is the single most accurate predictor of long-term success. The samurai Miyamoto Musashi died possessing very few material goods. Yet he left a legacy that has outlasted emperors. He wrote in his final text, the Dokodo, "Do not seek to possess goods that you do not need." This is the ultimate secret of wealth. When you do not need the world to pamper you, you become the master of your resources. Elias eventually became wealthy, not just in his bank account, but in his spirit. He could buy the luxury car, but he chose not to because he no longer needed the external validation. He had built a fire inside himself, and he no longer needed the world to keep him warm. Chapter 5. The Choice of the Iron Path. You must understand that the economy does not care about your feelings. The market rewards value, and value is created through effort, focus, and the endurance of problems. If you prioritize comfort, you will always be at the mercy of those who prioritize conquest. The soft man is easily manipulated, easily sold to, and easily discarded. The hard man, the one who has mastered Gaman, is undeniable. Look around at your life and identify where you are too comfortable. Where are you sleeping when you should be working? What are you buying to soothe the pain of your own mediocrity? Wealth requires a sacrifice. You must be willing to kill the part of you that just wants to be safe. Step out of the warmth and into the cold. It is there, in the discomfort, that you will find the strength to build something that lasts. Do not let comfort be the grave of your potential. Endure, build, and walk the path of the warrior.